Hello there, welcome to Siyasat TV. It is Wednesday, April 7, 2021. I am Sumaya Junaid Ahmad in Hyderabad, where we get you all the big news stories of the day from across India and the world. And here is our top headlines.
Night curfew in Punjab, ban on political gatherings, Chief Minister Amrinder Singh warns leaders. Ambani bomb scared Mumbai's former police chief Parambir Singh reaches probe agency NIA. Election Commission removes officers from 8 Kolkata constituencies for alleged bias. 1.15 lakh daily COVID cases in India, biggest rise so far. Why bluff about high COVID testing? High Court pulls up Telangana government. Bullet in the head, battle for Yemen key to Iran-United States tensions.
Let us begin with our top story. Punjab, one of the key states where the COVID graph is showing an upward movement, has declared a series of restrictions including night curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. till 30th of April. It has also declared a ban on political gatherings. Chief Minister Amrinder Singh has said that action will be taken against anyone violating this rule under DMA and Epidemics Act.
A cap has also been put on gathering at funerals, wedding and cremation. Only 50 people can attend indoor functions and 100 for outdoors. Masks have been made compulsory for employees in government offices. The night curfew, which was so far imposed on 12 districts, has been extended to the entire state. These restrictions, along with other imposed earlier, which includes closure of schools and educational institutions, will be effective till 30th of April, read a communique from the Chief Minister's office.
Moving on to our next news, a Delhi court today granted exemption from personal appearance to former Union Minister P. Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram for a day in the INX media scam related money laundering case. Special Judge M.K. Nagpal granted relief to the Chidambarams after an application in this regard was moved by their lawyers, saying that the accused were busy in assembly elections campaign in Tamil Nadu.
The Central Bureau of Investigation had registered its case on 15th of May 2017, alleging irregularities in Foreign Investment Promotion Board clearance granted to the INX Media Group for receiving overseas fund of Rs 305 crore in 2007 during Mr. Chidambaram's tenure as Finance Minister. The accused were summoned by the court on 24th of March after taking cognizance of the supplementary charge sheet filed by the Enforcement Directorate. The court will further hear the matter on 16th of April. Both P. Chidambaram and his son Karti Chidambaram are star campaigners of the Congress in Tamil Nadu elections.
And former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh appeared before the National Investigation Agency or NIA in Mumbai today to record his statement in connection with the case of an explosive laden SUV found near industrialist Mukesh Ambani's residence. Parambir Singh reached the National Investigation Agency's office in South Mumbai in a car around 9:30 a.m.
Mr. Singh, who is currently Director General of the Home Guards, was removed from the Mumbai Police Chief's post last month following the recovery of the vehicle with explosives near Mukesh Ambani's house on 25th of February and the subsequent murder of Thane businessman Manshukh Hiran. According to sources, Parambir Singh was summoned by the NIA to record his statement in the case.
Bengal election officer who claims that he slept overnight with an electronic voting machine at home of his relative, a Trinamool Congress leader, has been suspended by the Election Commission. The election body said this morning the EVM and the VVPAT will not be used in the polls.
Tapan Sarkar, the deputed officer for Howrah Sector 17 in AC 177 Ulberia Uttar, was found to have taken a reserve EVM to his politician relative's home to sleep over. Authorities have said charges for major punishment will now be framed against the official. Police officials attached to him will also face action.
Alright, Election Commission has removed returning officers of 8 constituencies in Kolkata, which will go to polls in the last 2 phases of the West Bengal Assembly elections on 26th and 29th of April.
New officials have already been appointed in the Chaurangi, Intali, Bhuwanipur, Beliaghata, Jorasanko, Shyampukur, Kashipur, Belgachia and Kolkata Port Assembly segments. Chief Electoral Officer Aris Aftab described the transfer of the 8 returning officers as a routine move since they had held their post for more than 3 years. Sources in the Election Commission told that the complaints were received against the officers for allegedly favouring the ruling Trinamool Congress. The official of the poll panel said returning officers play an important role in the election process and the norm of transferring officers was followed in these cases.
Every Indian deserves the chance to a safe life, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi tweeted today as government declared that vaccinations will not be available to a wider group anytime soon amid alarming spike in the coronavirus cases across the country. It is ridiculous to debate needs and wants. Every Indian deserves the chance to save life, Mr. Gandhi tweeted with the hashtag COVID vaccine.
The Wayanad MP has earlier through his tweets urged everyone to wear masks and follow all precautions as infections surge. Centre has stressed on a need to vaccinate the most vulnerable first, even as Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Maharashtra counterpart Uddhav Thackeray called for widening the nationwide drive to cover the most adults. The Union Health Ministry said some groups were prioritized because of the limited supply of vaccine.
India recorded over 1.15 lakh new COVID cases in the last 24 hours for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic, setting an unprecedented grim record during the second wave. The government said the next 4 weeks are very critical. The 1,15,736 new infections have taken the country's total cases to over 1.28 crore. 630 deaths in the last 24 hours have pushed the total coronavirus death count in India to 1,66,177. India is the world's third worst hit country after United States and Brazil. The government said that the vaccination will not be opened up to a wider group anytime soon, whereas Telangana have registered 1,914 fresh positive cases and 5 deaths reported in the past 24 hours. Let us shift our focus to Telangana, where amid doubling of the active COVID-19 cases and with even top officials getting infected, the Telangana High Court has pulled up the state government over vaccination and testing. The administration has meanwhile sought more supplies from the centre and permission to inoculate those above 25 years of age.
The Telangana High Court has asked the K. Chandrasekhar Rao government why is it not vaccinating citizens round the clock. It also asked why the state was performing 90% rapid antigen tests instead of more reliable RT-PCR tests. It sought to know why the administration was bluffing about the high number of tests without carrying out RT-PCR. Telangana added 1,914 fresh cases in the overall coronavirus count in the past 24 hours, the highest single day spike this year, pushing the aggregate to over 3.16 lakh.
A man who was instructed by a Tehsildar to collect bribe amount of Rs 5 lakh allegedly burnt the currency notes at the house in Telangana's Nagar Kurnool district on Tuesday to escape being caught by the Anti-Corruption Bureau. A senior ACB official said while 46 currency notes of Rs 2,000 denomination amounting to Rs 92,000 of the total bribe amount of Rs 5 lakh were completely burnt, and the remaining notes in the denomination of Rs 500 and few in Rs 2,000 were partially burnt.
The Tehsildar of Vildana Mandal has allegedly asked the man, a private person, to collect the bribe amount of Rs 5 lakh at his residence from the complaint in exchange of an official favour. The official favour was to issue a no objection certificate and forward it to the Mines and Geology Department for the grant of an quarry lease license to the complaint. Based on the complaint, the ACB officials took up the investigation. At the time of the trap was laid on the suspecting the arrival of the ACB officials, the man bolted the door of his house from inside and burned the bribe money on the gas stove in kitchen to escape from being caught. ACB officials could recover only partial burnt currency notes from the man's house and took him into custody. The Tehsildar was also subsequently taken into custody for demanding and accepting the bribe amount. An ACB official said adding a case was registered and further probe is on.
Moving on to our international news, Sudan's cabinet has approved a bill abolishing the 1958 law of boycotting Israel in the latest development in relations between the two sides. The move still needs the approval of joint meeting of Sudan's Sovereign Council and Cabinet, which serves as the Sudan's interim legislative body, to come out into effect.
While Sudan's civilian authorities have maintained that the decision to initiate relations with Israel would be left to yet to be formed transitional parliament, Tuesday's vote is seen as a step that could pave the way for the official visit and further diplomatic ties. The statement also emphasized Sudan's firm position on the establishment of Palestinian state within the framework of a two-state solution. The 1958 laws was in line with the policies of Arab nations at the time towards Israel. Penalties for those who violated its stipulation and such trading with Israel include up to 10 years in jail and a hefty fine. But the political landscape has now changed. Sudan, along with Gulf countries and Morocco, have built bridges with Israel in deals mediated by the administration of former US President Donald Trump.
The battle for an ancient desert city in war-torn Yemen has become a key to understanding wider tensions now inflaming in the Middle East and the challenges faced any efforts by President Joe Biden's administration to shift US troops out of the region. Fighting has been raging in the mountains outside Marib in Iran's aligned Houthis rebel, whose hold Yemen's capital of Sana'a attempt to seize the city, which is crucial for the country's energy supplies.
Saudi Arabia, which has led a military coalition since 2015 backing Sana'a's exiled government, has launched air attacks repeatedly to blunt Houthis' advance towards Marib. The Houthis have retaliated with drone and missile attacks deep inside Saudi Arabia, rolling the global oil markets. The Battle of Marib will likely determine the outline of any political settlement in Yemen's second civil war since the 1990s. If seized by the Houthis, the rebels can pass that advantage in negotiations and even continue further south. If held, Yemen's internationally recognized government saves perhaps its only stronghold and secessionist challenge authority elsewhere. The fight also squeezes a pressure point to the most powerful Gulf Arab ally of the United States, ensures any US return to Iran's nuclear deal. It even complicates efforts by the Biden's administration to slowly shift the long-time mass US military deployments to the Middle East instead of counter what it sees in the emerging threat of China and Russia.
Before we wrap up our bulletin, let's have a look on our headlines.
Night curfew in Punjab, ban on political gatherings, Chief Minister Amrinder Singh warns leaders. Ambani bomb scared Mumbai's former police chief Parambir Singh reaches probe agency NIA. Election Commission removes officers from 8 Kolkata constituencies for alleged bias. 1.15 lakh daily COVID cases in India, biggest rise so far. Why bluff about high COVID testing? High Court pulls up Telangana government. Bullet in the head, battle for Yemen key to Iran-United States tensions.
Well, that is the Siyasat TV English news for this Wednesday. Thanks for watching. I am Sumayya Junaid Ahmed. Have a great day.